So good afternoon. We're here again. We're here again at SABINA Park, where we have the 2017 JCA Senior Cup Finals. This game is between Melbourne CC and the Jamaica Defence Force. We saw in the first session of play the Jamaica Defence Force bowling out Melbourne CC for 103. And a quick recap at what happened. The first to go was Tariq White. He went without scoring. The next to go was Trevon Griffiths. He went for 29. Then Stephen Taylor, the dangerous Stephen Taylor, he went for 31. Andre McCarthy, he went without score. The very first ball. Sadiq Kibolt, he went for 1. Nepal Watson 9. Javel Glenn 3. Nikita Miller 1. Christopher Lamont without score. And Ronaldo McKenzie for 6. Damien Jacobs was left not out on 16. So here we are in the finals. And it seems as though we have a wicket. So the first wicket has fallen off the very first ball of the day. Jermaine Harrison, the dangerous Jermaine Harrison, he goes first ball of the bowling of Rolando McKenzie. So JDF, they've started out on a rocky note here. They've lost the dangerous Jermaine Harrison. Jermaine Harrison, of course, he's in the top 5 of most runs in Senior Cup. Jermaine Harrison, he has an average of 36.9, scored 2,031 runs with 4 centuries and 14 half centuries. But today, he has gone without score of the very first ball of the innings. A very dangerous player. Has a lot of experience here in Senior Cup. Here is McKenzie to bowl to Ottar. And this ball beats the outside edge and runs through the wicketkeeper, passes first slip. They go through for 1, and they'll think about the second. They come back for it. The man at second slip had to scamper through for it. Seemed like Nikita Miller. He chased it all the way to the fence and bowling to 3 slips and a gully. Man at backward point. Here he is. Ottar is back and punching nicely into the offside. They go through for 1. They think about the second and they won't come for it. And a strong throw. And down the leg side, and it goes past the wicketkeeper and it crushes into the fence, and that's 4 byes. Very harsh on the wicketkeeper. Very, very harsh on the wicketkeeper. He had absolutely no chance at getting that, but nonetheless, it will be charged against him. It's 4 byes, and Jamaica Defence Force, they have now gone up to 7 for the loss of 1. Here's McKenzie to bowl to Palmer. Palmer is forward looking for the single. They go through for a very easy single. He pushed it into the offside, and right away his partner responded. And that's the end of over number 3. At the end of it, it's 8. The loss of 1 wicket from the George Headley end. It's ball down midland leg stump and whipped away by Palmer. They go through for a single, and they can't get a second. Here he is to bowl to Palmer. Palmer is driving. It's a bump ball. But there's a loud appeal. Loud appeal. Not out, says umpire Taylor. He didn't even check with his partner. He was that short. It seemed as though that one was a bump ball. But of course, Melbourne, they're very enthusiastic. They're hungry for wickets. They'll be going up for everything. So I'm sure the umpires will have their hands full today. I said not out. They seemed very... Bowled him! And it's a no ball. What tragedy. What tragedy. What a tragedy this is. Oh my Lord. Joseph Palmer bowled off a no ball. This over continues to be extremely eventful. Bowling left arm round the wicket from the George Headley end. And Ottar turned this one into the onside. They go through for an easy single. That ball was back of a length. And he came back and turned it to a very square mid-wicket. Wake up out of the shell that he's in. And he does. He takes Christopher Lamont over the long off region, and it goes for 6. And that was always on the cards. The Melbourne bowlers, they have a very tight infield. They're trying to squeeze the JDF batsmen, and Palmer obliged. Here is Lamont. And this one is turned in the air, and the man under the bat does not catch it. That would have been what Melbourne wanted, is to bowl to Ottar. And Ottar is driving sweetly through the covers. Will this make it to the fence? Yes, it will. It crashes into the ropes. Exquisite shot by Rashid Ottar, and that goes for 4. That moves JDF to 23 for the loss of 1 wicket. Here's Mackenzie to bowl again to Ottar. Full toss. Ottar drives. The man at mid-off goes across. They go through for 1. They think about the second, and the man slides and misses, and they come through very easily for the second. The throw comes in right about now. That fielder looks like Javel Glenn. He slid to his left, but he didn't pick up cleanly. One can say both of them have pretty much been there from the start. Here's Mackenzie. This ball is whipped away through the onside by Rashid Ottar. Glorious shot, and it hits the fence about now. That's 4 runs. Another half volley onto midland leg stump. Rashid Ottar, he waited on that delivery all the way till it got to him. He didn't try to force it any at all. He clipped it sweetly past Tariq White, the man at mid-on who could not pick up. He's now at silly mid-off, staring in the face of Palmer. Palmer hits this one high and over the infield, and this one now goes for 6. You can't give that ball any air at all. Joseph Palmer, he'll back himself to clear any outfield there is, and he does so again for the second time. And that's 6 runs to Palmer, 6 more runs to the Jamaica Defence Force, 6 more runs closer to that magic number of 104. Joseph Palmer, he wouldn't want to miss another. This ball is turned into the onside by Ottar, and Mackenzie comes across from backward square fields, and they go through for an easy single. It brings Joseph Palmer on strike. Here is Jacobs. Palmer gets back, cuts. He cuts nicely past the man at point. They go through for 1. They'll come back for the second. And the man at cover, looks like Christopher Lamont, had to sprint across to feel it. And that's the end of Damien Jacobs' over, his first over. 3 runs coming from it. At the end of it, it's 38 for the loss of 1 wicket from a no ball. Here is Miller to bowl to Ottar, who's looking to whip this one to the onside. He does. The ball goes down to the man at long on, and they go through for an easy single. Ottar looks very uncomplicated in how he approaches the batting. Miller, top of his mark, to bowl to Palmer, who's sweeping. And did he get a touch off it? We'll wait for the signal from the umpire. It seems as though he did get it. No, he only succeeded in touching it off his pad. And that's a leg by. And the score now moves to 40 for the loss of 140. Is it 40? 39. 40 for the loss of 1 wicket at these days. Here is Jacobs. Flighted delivery, and Joseph Palmer turns this one into the onside. That looked like the googly. And Palmer watched it all the way onto the bat, turned it to the onside, and it goes through for a single. Jacobs. Here is Jacobs. Short. Ottar pulls and pulls well. He gets a single. It only passes the man at square leg. Palmer has to be very careful. This ball is back and he's cutting. This time he cuts well past the man or in front of square, and the man, Christopher Lamont, comes in off the cover boundary fields and sends a looping throw back in, and they go through for a single. And at the end of another Damien Jacobs over, it is 43 for the loss of 1 wicket from Damien Jacobs. Here he is. And this one is almost played onto the stumps. Ottar went back trying to force a cut shot. He succeeded in cutting the ball, getting it on the edge, and it went. Is Miller. And this one is whipped into the onside by Ottar. Lovely played. And they go through for 1. They look for the second. Will they get the boundary? This is close. And the umpires are checking with each other. It seems they're not sure whether the fielder touched the rope. And yes, excellent sportsmanship from the man at deep mid-wicket who signaled to them that he did touch the fence, and that is what I call. But but with Joseph, you have to bowl on his stumps.
That's correct. Another delivery you see here, a single coming off it. That ball on the line of the leg stump, and Joseph sweeping down to that man at orthodox square leg. He gets a single and moves on to 19. The score moves up to 49 for the loss of the one. And a very good day for cricket here.
Ball is driven by Joseph Palmer down to the man at long off. Looks like Javel Glenn, who sends a looping throw back to Nikita Miller. And the score now moves to 50. So
Right, Kerry. Right now, we see Nikita Miller pushing back the man at a square leg somewhat deeper. Jacobs is into Palmer, and Palmer is on the back foot. There's a loud appeal for LBW. Very loud appeal from the Melbourne team. The umpire is unmoved, Christopher Taylor. The fans making some comments about the umpire there, but he was very certain that ball was a bit high, you would say, Kerry.
I think that was an excellent decision by umpire Christopher Taylor. Excellent decision. That ball wasn't only high, but that ball would seem as though it would have been missing the leg stump. You bring him on to do a job, and if you don't get the job done, then you pull him out of the attack. This ball is whipped behind square by Rashid Attar. They go through for a single. They think about the second. They won't take it as young Rolando McKenzie goes across and sends a throw back in. Attar, Sean, he has not been very good between the wickets, running between the wickets this morning. I think that JDF, they could have been at least 10 more runs ahead.
Damon Jacobs, the Jamaica leg spinner, he's in, and this ball is wide outside us, and Rashid is back and hits this one through the covers. That ball was there. It was short, wide, and was asked to be hit. The umpire signals 4 runs, and Rashid, he gladly took that delivery from Jacobs. He does the fielding. Again, Jacobs into Attar, and Attar is back and pushing this one through the cover region into the Kingston Cricket Club stands. Will it go for 4? The batsman have gone for 1. It runs over the boundary, and the umpire signals 4. That's a very good shot there, Kerry.
Indeed, a very good shot. Rashid Attar seems the type of player who's very strong off his back foot. And outside the off stump, giving him the room, he's going to make full use of it.
That's right, Kerry. And that has forced Nikita Miller to make some changes. He has now pushed the man on from the orthodox point region down just in front of the Kingston Cricket Club stand on the boundary. Here again, JDF scores a tickle on the leg side down to the fine leg region. Attar, he gets 2 more runs. Very good scoring rate here for this type of cricket. And he is forward this time, pushing this delivery down to the man at long on for a single. Very good over there by JDF standards. Went for 7 runs. That is the over. The score is now 62 runs for the loss of 1 wicket.
Backward point.
Right, that's very fine backward point. And the Tariq White, he has moved from orthodox point to the cover point boundary. And we see the plan here by the Melbourne team. The
runs must be a part of what he's considering. They only have 103. So he's caught between having to get wickets and slow the scoring rate. Now start over. The saying, right after a break, things normally happen. And Palmer pushes this one down to the long off region. It seemed as though, Sean, he was looking to play that one through the onside. Joseph Palmer with that no ball, and now Damien Jacobs.
All right, again, this delivery bowled pitched wide outside the off stump of Attar, who flashes at it, gets the ball to edge, peel off his bat down to the backward square region. He scampers 2 runs. I see Attar, Kerry, was trying to run fast just now. 22 not out, and Attar, who is on strike, not out on 36. Here's Lamont in, and Attar is pushing this one past the bowler, who he'll score here just a single. As easy as that, the Soldiers are taking down this Melbourne first innings score of 103.
And the final wicket fell, of course, at 103. Here is Taylor to bowl to Attar. Attar is turning this one into the onside. They go for the single, and the throw comes in, but they were long home by then. There's no way Damien Jacobs would have been able to come across to his left and twist his body around and get that throw going to the non-striker's end. So well-judged single in the end.
JDF bowled very well. Cottrell, he took 3 wickets for 27 runs.
And that was a loud appeal there, Sean. That ball seemed as though it touched something. It went between bat and pad, and the keeper was scrambling to try and catch it. Nikita Miller juggled it at slip. The loud appeal went up from Stephen Taylor. Nikita Miller didn't seem very enthusiastic about the appeal. Not out by umpire Edsel Mitchell.
Field mostly came from the bowler and Jacobs, who is at that cover region. Here's a delivery turned into the leg side by Palmer, easily walking through for that single. The score moves up to 70 without loss at the end of the over, continuing with them at Silly Point. However, Lamont has been missing his line. He's bowling on that leg stump region. This delivery, however, he has adjusted somewhat and landed it in the right position, but it was the length was not correct. So Lamont is bowling to Palmer, and Taylor is in, and this ball is short, and Palmer is almost caught at short leg. He played this delivery, which was very short from Taylor, into the path of that man at Silly Point region. The difference, though, that man at Silly Midon, he went right and the ball went left.
Bowler, at what point do you say that, okay, it is my time now to try and win this game for my team, or to try and break the back of the batting of this team? One wonders if Nikita Miller is physically fit. 16 of the 30 overs. Here is Lamont. This one is whipped away into the onside by Joseph Palmer. They go through for one. They go back for the second. Will they think about the third? No, I don't think they will do so, as Nikita Miller sprints around and fields, sends a high throw in, and they settle on 2. This is the 17th. So if one were to look at the statistics, you could use that to say that Leighton Leslie is, in this game, the highest ranked Senior Cup fast bowler.
Very interesting information there, Kerry. And he's bowling from the Blue Mountain end, comes into bowl to Atari, and this ball is on the line of the leg stump. A weak appeal went up. Not really interested in that appeal was umpire Christopher Taylor. Yes, that ball was angled down the leg side, the Melbourne cricketers. Here is McCarthy in again to Atari, and this ball is on the line of the leg stump. Turned around, down squared, and his ball is running away towards the boundary. It goes now into the boundary for 4 runs. A very welcome boundary here for the Soldiers and Attar. The score goes up to 80 for the loss of 1 wicket. Another 24 runs, and JDF will be having first innings in the bag.
Bowling, he bowled a little bit slower, got some purchase and some bounce, and that, to me, was the main difference why Joseph was able to be so successful bowling to the Melbourne batsmen. What you found here is the Melbourne bowlers, they have been largely very flat and fast. They're coming quick through the air. No flight, no spin, no guile. When you look at Christopher Lamont, he has been bowling more on the shorter side than anything else. For me, Sean, I'm not seeing where the Melbourne bowlers have shown enough enterprise to try and prize these batsmen out.
Loss of 1, JDF trying to get first innings points from everyone, and Attar is back, and this delivery is hit straight past the umpire down to the George Headley stand for 4. Very good shot there by Attar. He moves closer to the landmark of 50 runs. He's now gone to 48 from 95 deliveries. A very safe stroke there. The only person that was in danger was umpire Edsel Mitchell, who had to make haste and avoid being hit by that ball, as it was hit straight as an arrow.
For over 1.5, which is what he has been doing. And he's turning this one behind square. They go through for 1. They'll think about the second. He's going to hustle back for his 50. And yes, he will get it. A well-deserved 50. Well played, Rashid Attar. That's 50 runs to Rashid Attar. Excellent knock from him so far. His 50 has come up of 96 deliveries. And Sean, I think in the context of this game, Rashid Attar has really played a massive hand in JDF being now firm and large in control.
Line delivery there from the off-spinner Taylor, who is in again, and a line on leg stump. A loud appeal for LBW. Not out, says umpire Edsel Mitchell. Attar was looking to turn this delivery from the line of mid and leg stump around to square leg. He missed it completely.
In Senior Cup is 53. Here is McCarthy. flighty delivery on the off stump and pushed away nicely to that vacant point region, and they go through for a very easy single. Again, Sean, I'm not convinced that this is the best way for Melbourne to attack.
Spin of McCarthy, who is bowling a very steady line. This ball, though, has eased the pressure. It was short and wide, and Attar gladly took that one. He punched it through the vacant cover region, and 4 runs was the result. Attar very much in control now of this innings.
And for me, Sean, a bad ball is a bad ball.
Now we see Nikita Miller finally making the change that you alluded to 4 overs earlier. He has taken up the attack from the George Headley end. Stephen Taylor has been removed. He bowled 9 overs for 13 runs with 3 maidens unsuccessfully. However, getting Joseph Palmer to play a few ambitious strokes. Now Joseph Palmer is on strike to the left-handed Nikita Miller, who will be bowling around the stump to the right-handed batsman. Palmer has scored 28 runs thus far. Attar is not out on 54, and this first delivery by Miller is swept down to the long on region, and the batsmen have made their ground for a single. Here's McCarthy into bowl to Palmer, and this delivery is on the line of the off stump, and Palmer is back and pushing into the vacant point region, and the walk through for another single. Jacobs does the fielding. The score goes to 95 for the loss of 1.
Will exercise some care after they've gotten the runs here. This ball is worked into the onside again by Rashid Attar. We're going to wait for the signal. He got some bat on it, and the single brings up 95 now for the loss of 1 wicket here by the players.
No, they're interested in wearing mohawks.
Indeed.
That's right. Another steady over comes to an end. Only the single taken from the bat of Joseph Palmer. He moves to 31 from 117. An identical number of deliveries faced by the left-handed opener Rashid Attar. Very consistent average of 33 for this season. He is on 55.
The man they call Killer, and Christopher Lamont, the man they call Little Killer. Here is Big Killer. And this one is outside the off stump, and appeal gone. Caught behind. Nikita Miller claims his first wicket. Joseph Palmer goes, caught behind of the bowling of Nikita Miller. And the score now moves to 96 for the loss of 2 wickets. Nikita Miller has finally broken the partnership. And the Jamaica Defence Force have gotten a little sleeping police at this stage to slow them down. But one believes that most of the work would have already been done by Joseph Palmer, and Melbourne will have to regroup and try to prize a couple more wickets.
In confidence, just as he got the wicket of that opener Palmer. Here is Bennett, who pushes his ball into the cover region. He took off for the single. The single was not on, but Bolt, brother of Usain Bolt, misfielded and gave Bennett that single. It all ended up well for the Army men, batsmen.
I think it's just that he took a little bit too long to introduce himself, and he pretty much has allowed the game to kind of meander along for too long without him. But now he is back, and he has started to play a part in the game.
Bennett, which is in and of itself is a very good strategy. However, they'll have to keep Attar from scoring. This delivery was down the track and hitting this one through mid-wicket. A very good stroke, high quality shot, and he succeeded in getting 2 runs. Batsman to play and be caught there on, and he is forward in defense firmly. First back coming out of the middle, and he takes off for a run, and there's almost a run out. This ball was pushed up to the man Glenn at mid-off, who ran in, aimed at the stumps and missed, and a single was taken.
Which it has done so far, and I see the umpires looking at each other as to say this may be the last one, and he's bowled him. He is bowled. Rashid Attar bowled the final delivery before tee. That ball was pitched on the line of the off stump. Attar drove at it. The ball came back sharply, spun through bat and pad, and hit the off stump. Now, Sean, for me, that is something you can't explain. The final delivery before tee, you've done such a good job, and the ball is flighted on your off stump, and you decide to try and square drive that ball.
Strike. They were bowled out in the space of 30 overs by JDF. The captain, Joseph Palmer, took 5 wickets in his 12 overs with the ball. Here is Nikita Miller into Bennett again, and Bennett is driving this time, beating the man at mid-off, and will certainly get a single. He runs off the man. Javel Glenn comes around from long on and does the fielding. A single is taken. The scores are now tied by nature, and he is now again forward. A stifled appeal by the Melbourne team. Really just finding out if the umpire is awake. 103 is a score for 3 wickets. I mean, this delivery has popped up and taken by the man at that silly mid-on position. An appeal goes up, but again, not interested is umpire Edsel Mitchell. Along with Edsel is Christopher Taylor. Leslie, no wicket for 20 runs. Palmer, the chief destroyer, he had 5 for 23. Brown, he had no wicket for 6 runs. And 104 runs for 3 wickets, passing the score set by Melbourne, and now setting a target for them to get before they're able to set anything of substance. And this delivery is being swept down the leg side by Gray. It will go for 4 runs. Lamont he erred just now, pitching that ball just outside the line of the leg stump, and it was asked to be hit, and Gray gleefully accepted 4 runs to the left-handed batsman.
Since then, JDF, they've marched on to 109 for 3. Here is Miller to bowl to Bennett, and Bennett is back and cutting past the man at second slip, also beating the man at point, who is Christopher Lamont, who gives chase. They go through for 1, they come back for the second. A very weak throw by Lamont, and 2 made. So the score now moves to 111 for the loss of 3 wickets. Cover, backward point, and a deep backward square. This one is cutting past Lamont, and this one will certainly hit the ropes. It's going, it's gone. 4 runs to Sean Bennett.
Very good shot there by Bennett. That ball was sat up and was outside the off stump, saying, "Hit me, please." And Bennett, duly obliged, playing that square cut perfectly along the carpet. There was no chance for Lamont, who is at point to his weaker side, though. But it's down to the Kingston Cricket Club stand for 4 runs.
Nikita Miller, this ball flighted and turned away down the leg side by Sean Bennett. Sean Bennett has looked a little bit more inclined to score since the tea break. His captain, Damian Gray, is with him. A very competent player is Damian Gray. He played youth cricket for Jamaica, bowled a little bit of left arm spin, and batted well. He was the opening batsman. Here is Miller. Flighted delivery, and Gray is letting this one go by, and the wicketkeeper does not collect, and it goes through for a bye signal by umpire Mitchell, and the score now moves to 112 for the loss of 3 wickets.
I tell you, the ball went over the stumps and past the keeper for a bye.
Again, he's back and punching this one through the offside is Bennett. They go through for 1. They'll come back for the second. Nikita Miller is having a rough time this over. He's missed his length a couple times to Bennett, and Bennett has really cashed in on it. And 2 more to the total. The score now rushes to 117 for the loss of 3 wickets.
Got a 4 in the over and also 2 runs. I'm sure he's really getting comfortable now at the crease. Nikita Miller has to be cognizant of that fact, and also we're wary that they don't want this lead to stretch any further. So he along with the rest of the Melbourne bowlers to tighten up on their lines. I'm very surprised though that Damian Jacobs hasn't had a bowl since just after lunch. He is really a very good bowler for Melbourne. He got the wickets last match against Kingston along with Lamont, but Captain Nikita Miller chose to use Stephen Taylor instead.
And there we saw a very sharp bit of work from the man under the bat. Looks like Andre McCarthy. That ball, Sean Bennett hit it into his front pad. It trickled to McCarthy. No, it seems like Trevon Griffiths. It trickled to Trevon Griffiths, who was under the bat. He tried desperately to try and get it back in to run Sean Bennett out.
A well-played half-century just on the stroke of tea. Again,
cutaway, beautiful.
Short and cut away by Bennett, who loves these deliveries on the off stump, and is gone for another boundary. Bennett moves on to 18. The score goes up to 124 for the loss of 3, and the Army men now lead by 21.
It's going to be the linchpin. Here he is doing battle against Nikita Miller. He's turning this one behind square. They go through for 1. They're hustling through his Gray, but Bennett, he was content on getting only a single to Miller.
And as long as Sean Bennett stays there, he is going to score and score quickly. Again, he squeezes this one behind square and takes off for another single. You have seen some urgency in the stroke play of the JDF batsmen, not taking a lot of chances. They are looking to score when the opportunity has been provided, hitting the gaps, picking the singles, running hard, and you can see they are very...
Now moved up to 24. Here is Miller. Flighted delivery, and Gray looking to go through the offside. That ball spun a little bit, and he was successful only in getting it down to the man at long on, and they go through for an easy single. Score now moves to 126 for 3. 2 wickets for 27 runs. And his partner at the other end is a man they call Little Killer, Christopher Lamont. He has bowled 14 overs so far, 4 maidens, 29 runs, but he has gone wicketless.
Right. Bennett now to take strike from Miller. He is on 18 from 41 deliveries. He is up to Miller and he's back and punching this one past the bowler, and they get a easy single.
Again, Sean, you didn't see that before, T. Now, Bennett looks to be a little bit more enterprising.
Last week to this Melbourne team, the home support would not be out. A very loud appeal here from Christopher Lamont. Ball taken on the pad of Harrison. He was forward to a delivery that pitched on and about off stump. Hit on the pad. A loud appeal went up, but Mr. Taylor was not interested. What are your views there?
More hopeful than anything else. That ball, it hit him outside the off stump. It was dangerous stroke. And this ball again is back and cutting this time. He makes good contact, and that man comes off the cover boundary, Tariq White, and lobs a throw back to, looks like Andre McCarthy, who was feeling at short cover. He's now at short mid-wicket to the left-hander.
Lamont again from the Blue Mountain end is into bowl to Gray, and this delivers on the line of the leg stump, and Gray goes into sweep mode again. This one is tickled down to fine leg. The fielder comes around, prevents the boundary. They have already gotten 2 runs, and the score moves from 128 for the loss of 3 to 130 for the loss of 3 wickets. That's the end of the over. Gray is not out on 8. Bennett is not out on 20. 14 overs completed by Lamont.
I think maybe Rolando McKenzie will be able to get some of those balls coming back at the batsman, and maybe hit a couple pads, stumps, and get you back in the game. His first spell was for 8. This ball is swept, and Jacobs has his hand on his head as if to say that touched something. Gray wasn't interested.
Apparently, it touched the bat of Gray, and the keeper skipped around, anticipating that.
But again, it's what umpire Taylor says that really and truly would determine what happens. And that ball is squeezed into the offside by Gray. Again, Sean, Gray was on the front foot. He opened the face, allowed the ball to come to him, opened the face, and got it to the right of the man at cover point.
Now afterwards has been fighting on. Here is Jacobs and the ball is flighted and Bennett is in the one. This one is hitting the air. Will he be caught? No, he won't be caught. This one goes over the boundary for 6 runs. A very good straight hit by Bennett. The ball was on the line of the off stump. Jacobs thought he was in with a chance. Bennett was equal to the task and he hit this one cleanly over long off. It went straight over the bowler's head for 6. He moves on to 27. The score goes up to 137 for the loss of 3 wickets.
I'm sure with the confidence of his team, he will do so. Bowled him. Damian Gray goes bowled to Nikita Miller. That ball was flighted on the line of the off stump. Gray came down the pitch. He tried to play that ball through the covers. The ball spun between bat and pad. And bye-bye, Captain Gray. Nikita Miller has now collected his 3rd wicket. And JDF, they are 137 for loss of 4 wickets. Nikita Miller, 3 out of those 4 wickets.
The score is 137 for 4. Nikita Miller has gotten his 3rd wicket again. Again, a brilliant delivery ball by Nikita Miller. Let's see what the umpires have signaled. That ball again beat the left-handed Leslie, went over the stump, also beat the keeper. Apparently, he got some bat on it, right? He got some bat on it this time. The runs have been given to Leslie. He gets 2 runs. The score moves to 139 for 4. The franchise tournament. Here is Jacobs. This is a line of leg stumper. Stifled the appeal. This delivery was definitely going down leg. The umpire is not interested. The umpires, again, for today's game, Christopher Taylor and Edson Mitchell have a game. They are leading now by 36 runs and building on that with another 6 wickets in hand. The batsmen at the wicket are Sean Bennett and Leslie. Captain Nikita Miller is bowling from the George Edley end, and he is bowling to Bennett to his back and hitting this one in the vacant mid-wicket area where the fielder comes around. There is only 1 run taken. He's a tall left-handed batsman. Nikita Miller bowling to him, and this delivery is turned on the leg side, and the batsman go off for a single, a very well-run single. The score goes up to 142 for the loss of 4.
Do battle against Damian Jacobs. Jacobs flighted outside the off stump. There's a loud appeal for leg before. Not out, says umpire Taylor. That ball didn't spin back enough, in my opinion. And I suspect that would have been what umpire Taylor would have thought about. The only person who really went up for that appeal was Damian Jacobs.
What was happening there? The batsman played with his pad only, and that was a challenge.
And he's gone. So, Leighton Leslie, he goes caught by Silimidon. That delivery was pitched on a good length. It bounced a little bit on him. Leslie seemed surprised at the bounce that ball got. And in my opinion, that ball really and truly didn't get any excessive bounce or anything.
By Miller, and the loss of the wicket of Leslie has forced the JDF team to, consolidate somewhat. They get a run here, though. Let's see what will be signaled by the umpire. By a signal, that ball that went behind Bennett was bowled down the leg side by Miller. Not some very good keeping there by the wicketkeeper from Melbourne. Out Bennett. He has batted positively after the tea break here again, getting some runs. Let's see if he got some bat on that. Delivery went away for 4, and yes, he did get some bat. A wayward delivery there by Jacobs. Went down the leg side. Bennett went for the sweep. He got some bat on it. The ball ran away down to fine leg for 4 runs.
Hurry himself here. Here he is to bowl to Bennett. And Bennett is back and pulling this one through the vacant mid-wicket region. It goes now into the fence of 4. And that, I'm sure, will lively up the crowd here. Now, we have not seen any boundary for some time since the start of this over. And we've seen 2 in this over. A sweep shot from Bennett and then a real good pull shot from him. That brings JDF's 150 into sharp focus. The 150 has come off 368 balls, and it has taken them 184 minutes to get there. Here is Miller, and this one is whipped down to the man at long on, and they go through for a single. I think that's the best thing to happen for JDF, for Sheldon Cottrell to come up, strike Nikita Miller, hold the JDF team out before the end of today's play. Here is Jacobs, flight to delivery, and this one is turned into the onside by Sheldon Cottrell. They go through for one. Javel Glenn comes and fields from behind square. Had to do a little bit of running there just to get to it quickly, and that now the score now moves to 153 for the loss of 5.
Tried to play his own game to score quickly, and with that came the confidence to now be playing all these plethora of strokes that we see coming from the young soldier.
And I think the confidence to Damien Jacobs, and a slight adjustment in the field. Javel Glenn, who was at the mid-wicket region, he's now at square leg. Here is Jacobs, the bowl. And this one is hit high in the air. He should be taken. Mackenzie's under it. He takes the catch, and Sheldon Cottrell goes. Caught at long off of the bowling of Damien Jacobs. And Sean, you knew that was coming. I said it the over before. If he was able to last the over from Nikita Miller, he would have done well. And here he is to Damien Jacobs, the leg spinner, who has been giving him some problems. That one was flighted just outside the off stump. Cottrell thought he was close enough to it, but he really wasn't, and he only succeeded in hitting a very high catch, which was gladly taken by young Ronaldo Mackenzie. And JDF, they have now lost their 6th wicket at 154. Really get at the bowling, which we didn't see him doing. Here is Jacobs, the bowl to Bennett, who's turning this one into the onside. They go through for one. They think about the second, and they won't get it. Joining Bennett now is Rohan Chang. Chang is 13th over. You'll now exact a lot of pressure on Chang, and Chang is letting this one go by outside the off stump. The wicketkeeper, he didn't read it, and they go through for the second run. They think about the third. No, they won't think about the third, and that's 2 more runs added to the score, and it seems as though he got some bat on it, Sean.
That ball bounced and spun. Chang, he played a leave alone stroke. However, the ball bounced and hit the back of the bat. Very fortunate there for Chang.
Palmer, that bowled him. He has been very, very good in the outfield. This ball is swept away by Sean Bennett. And they go through for one. They come back for the second. The stroke comes in. Stephen Taylor from slip. And the score now moves to 159 for the loss of 6 wickets. Yeah, but O'Shane is in your franchise system. So this ball is driven down to the man at long off by Sean Bennett, who's looked very accomplished here today. That takes the score to 40, and the score to 160 for the loss of 6 with him, Rohan Chang.
The total is 160 for the loss of 6 wickets. Again, Miller is in, and this ball is popping up and over the slip region. A run is taken. Very lucky there for Chang. Enough of the ball on the bat to beat the men at slip. Taylor and what seems to be not Nikita Miller. That's Griffith. Taylor and Griffith at first and second slip. Griffith actually just was moved by the captain Miller to that second slip region, and lo and behold, the ball went in that area. However, Chang was very lucky.
He's trying to protect the boundaries. Man at deep backward square and a man at long on. Here is Jacobs, flighted delivery, and Chang is beaten outside the off stump. There's a stifled appeal, not out, says umpire Taylor, and immediately the players accept and they will move on with their business.
It is Sean Bennett, the right-handed batsman, on 41, and with him is Rohan Chang, the JDF wicketkeeper, on 3. This delivery is squeezed out to the offside, and a single is quickly taken by Bennett and Chang, who have really, tried to push along the scoring. Is Bennett. He, however, alone won't be able to do it. He moves on to 42 from 82 deliveries. A silly point and a silly mid-on in place and a second slip. And this ball is short, and Chang is into the stroke and pulling this one down behind square. The ball is running away. Will it go for 4? It goes across the boundary now. A roar from the crowd celebrating that shot there from Chang. I mean, is that a surprise, Kerry?
That will certainly bring some confidence to Chang, and also It'll bring some confidence to his supporters to say, look, you can be confident in me. I'll be here. I'll be fighting for you. And that ball was a rank long up, and it got the treatment that it deserved. Up to 12. Here is Miller. And this one is turned away into the onside by Chang. They go through for an easy single. And the score now moves to 167 for the loss of 6 wickets. A lead of 64. Here is Nikita Miller to bowl to Sean Bennett. And Bennett is back and edging past the man at slip. This will hit the fence just about now. It does hit the ropes. And that's 4 more to the JDF cause. It's 171 for the loss of 6. And with that, Sean Bennett, he moves his score now up to 46. And he has been there for some 88 minutes, Sean Johnson. And he has really shown that he has the mettle to try and force his team into a commanding lead. If he had gotten an edge on that one, I'm sure he would have been really mad. This ball is flighted and in the air, hit down to the man at long on. The man was just moved from mid-on to long on, and that obliged Chang. And the score here at SABINA Park in this 2017 JCA Senior Cup final between defending champions Melbourne CC and the Jamaica Defence Force. The Melbourne CC, they were first at bat. They made 103. And JDF in reply, they're 173 for 6. JDF, they bowled 30. Here is Jacobs, flighty delivery. And this one is hit in the air by Bennett. And the man at long on comes off the fence and fields. That ball was fired into Midland leg stump. Ben Nikita Miller delaying before he came in. And I think that in itself was dangerous. This ball is pulled away by Sean Bennett to deep mid-wicket. Tariq White comes across from deep backward square. He can't prevent him from coming back for the second. And Sean Bennett moves to 49. Long.
That's right. He has really been all over the shop in this match. Very dependable bowler by Senior Cup standards for Melbourne. And Sean now has gotten his 50. Very well played 50 by Bennett. It came off 86 balls in 101 minutes. And I mean, this gentleman has really grown from strength to strength based on what and how his innings started. He has grown in confidence. He was given a couple of deliveries to get some confidence, and he certainly took that opportunity with both hands and now has made Melbourne pay for those wayward deliveries that they've served up to Mr. Bennett. 50 runs. Here is Bennett up, and Jacobs flights this ball. He tried to drive that on the offside. It peeled off the inside edge, and he successfully got a single. Won't be taking that very lightly. Again, Jacobs to Chang, and this one is flicking on the leg side and will get some runs. He goes off for one. He hears back, but is sent back rightfully by Bennett. Only a single taken. Chang goes to double figures now. He's in up to 10 from 40 deliveries. Adjustment made to the square leg fielder. Jacobs again up to Bennett, and is short, and Bennett is back and punches this one through the covers. He's going to get some runs here. He goes for one, turns for the second. The fielder, Stephen Taylor, throws in the delivery. Now, 2 runs have been taken. 181 is the score at the end of that over. 6 wickets have fallen. The Army men are leading by 78 runs.
Hey, I'm coming at you. Here is Lamont. And Chang is back and punching this one into the offside. They go for a quick single. And that was, it looked like Bolt, Sadiki Bolt. He could not stop them from going through for that single. It was listening and watching from wherever you are in Jamaica. Ramon Hutchinson, I hope you have a good afternoon, sir. He's an ex-Melbourne player, or should I say a former Melbourne player. Bowled a bit of off spin in his days. Was one of our top wicket takers back in the days.
The boundary, a deep mid wicket, and also a deep square leg. And it's Mr. Taylor to take up the action from this end. The first delivery is short and pulled by Sean Bennett, who moves on to 55.
55 for the loss of 6 wickets here at SABINA Park. And Bennett is back and cutting this one into the offside. They go through for one. They think about the second. They'll come back for it. Sadiki Bolt sends a strong throw back to Nikita Miller's end, but he can't prevent the run from scoring.
Looking to take wickets at this point. Somebody who is penetrative, somebody who the batsman will have to worry about. Here again, a loose delivery by Taylor, which is dispatched by Chang for 2 runs down to the mid-wicket, straightest mid-wicket region, which is fielded by the man coming around from the long-on boundary. 5 overs for 16 runs. Trying to rush the batsman who is in no mood to be rushed. Taylor in, fly to delivery, and Chang is taking this one gleefully, drives through the offside. A single has been taken, and they're coming back for the second. That was a poor run, but in the end, they got 2 runs successfully because the fielder, Tariq White, sent in a very harmless throw, giving Bennett enough time to get back. And the score went up to 191, inching up to that 200 mark. Scorpions, KLS Sports, ESPN Radio, who are our neighbors, we should say, Hotel Four Seasons, and one can't forget the stream being brought to you by Juice TV. Again, we're at the Jamaica Cricket Association Senior Cup Finals for 2017. This is being played at SABINA Park, Kingston, Jamaica, between the Jamaica Defence Force, those are the Army men, and the Melbourne Cricket Club, the guys from Courtney Walsh Drive.
Without scoring, here is Stephen Taylor, and this one is back and cutting, and it goes through the man Tariq White, who went across. It seemed as though he was going to take the catch, and he couldn't hold on, and that now squeezes the score to 194 for the loss of 6 wickets. Jamaica Defence Force, they now lead by some 91 runs.
Here is Miller again into bowl to Chang, and this one is on the line of the leg stump, and I'm not sure if Chang got any bat on that delivery. Let's see what the umpire will signal. And it's a leg by, so no bat involved there. However, another single added to the score of the Jamaica Defence Force.
Now looking to try and prize Sean Bennett out. Here he is. And this ball is fired into the middle leg stump, and Sean Bennett turns it behind square. The wicketkeeper goes after it. Did he get any bat on it? It seems he did. Yes, he did. And that now inches his score up to 61. Again, he's been there some 134 minutes. He's faced 113 delivers for his 61.
From the Blue Mountain end. He runs into Bennett and delivers a delivery that's hitting this man on the leg, but an appeal went up. Apparently, that ball was played off the bat.
It seemed more as though it was missing the leg stump. It really, Mackenzie gets the ball to dart in to the right-hander.
That was
Joseph Palmer, but of course that was a no ball. Here he is again to bowl to Bennett, and again the ball is veering into that midland leg stump, and Bennett does well to come down on it and get some bat on it and squeezes it to a mid-on where Damon Jacobs comes across fields and sends a throw in. And now, Sean, it will be very interesting.
A lot of drives coming down on the onside, but here is Mackenzie into Chang, and Chang is whipping this one off his legs that goes down to fine leg quickly to that man on the boundary bolt, and a single is taken. The score moves to 197 for the loss of 6 wickets. The lead is 94, and I'm sure JDF will be looking to get those 6 or 9 runs to inch this lead up to 100.
Onto it, whatever he needs to do. Here is Miller to bowl to Chang, who's whipping this one. Behind square, they go for one. Will it make, does it have the legs to go to the fence? Tariq White is after it, and they'll come back for the second. And 2 more runs added to the total. And that brings up the 200 for Jamaica Defence Force. It's 200 off 494 balls, and it has taken them 257 minutes to get to 200.
See where JDF has really consolidated and just look to survive, get those singles, and bring the score up to what it is now. It is now a 201 for the loss of 6 wickets. Ben Mackenzie is bowling to Chang, and he is up to the wicket and delivers a delivery that's down the leg side and missed by keeper Watson, and it runs away to the boundary, goes into the boundary now for 4 byes, an additional score to the JDF total. They have now moved the lead to exactly 101, and now the Melbourne team really has something to worry about. The score is now 205. Here is Mackenzie, the young fast bowler from Melbourne, is up to the crease and delivers to Chang, who is leaving this little ball. This ball is a very wide delivery. It passes the keeper, Watson. Wide signaled by Christopher Taylor. 4 comes after that. That's 5 more runs added without anything done to the score. The Melbourne team are really losing it now.
24 extras, Sean. Now, if you only score 103, there's no way you should be you should be giving up 24 extras at this time. But it is what it is. That's how life is on the day that is not yours. The partnership now moves to 56. An excellent partnership between Sean Bennett and Rohan Chang. Ensure that this be the last over.
I'm sure. Here's Mackenzie into Chang, and Chang is edging this one down to second slip, but it falls short of Stephen Taylor, and time has been called. Apparently, JDF batsmen seem to know that this was the final over, so it really didn't matter, and they have successfully kept out the Melbourne team. The score at the end of the day, 210 for the loss of 6 wickets, and JDF certainly in the ascendancy at this moment in time. To give you a recap,